this week, we're going to talk about some events across the country. We're also going to talk about a small, tiny, natural wine producer here in British Columbia and a fantastic lineup of wine here that we tasted in the last couple of days. So stay with us.
Cheers. Happy Wine Wednesday, hey?
Cheers. Happy Wine Wednesday, Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, Mira Boucher, all
Carl
of you
Boucher.
across the country. Keep going.
I got a lot of glasses.
It is Wednesday, and I went easy because there's a couple other wines that are open that I have not put in your glass, just in case of it can be too confusing at some point. So yeah. Hey everyone, welcome. Another exciting week in the world of wine here. There's so much going on, so much to talk about, and so many exciting happenings. So it's especially in our glasses. I mean, like we tasted so many great wines in the last week, and there is so much more to come. So I can't wait to share everything with you guys. What's happening tomorrow night? What's happening in 2.5 weeks or 3 weeks in Ontario? And what's happening right in front of us here? So yeah,
lots going on.
How are you doing here?
I'm doing really well. I mean, we are so spoiled. We got all these amazing wines open right now, and also tomorrow night. What's happening tomorrow night? Tell us.
Tomorrow night I'm gonna have 10 wines open.
Live,
and not like average Joe's wine. I mean, like wines that have been cellared by the pros, by the winery owners for 10 years and more. So this is the back vintage Toronto tasting that we're doing on April 25th. And tomorrow it's the pre-tasting. People will be like, what do you mean pre-tasting? You guys organize a tasting and you do a pre-tasting? Yeah. Yep. That's how we roll. No, and the fact is, because we have, I'll let you introduce the whole concept, okay? Because I want, or do you want me to do it? And you may be busy here, like connecting different platforms together, so I'm not sure.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the whole concept was, for a long time, I kept saying, Carl, you come from an international wine background. You have tasted iconic wines from around the world that have been well aged. I mean, Carl used to work with collectors that had $1 million worth of wine sitting there, and that he would help them, decide which one to open next and stuff like that. So, but me, I started drinking wine during the pandemic. Maybe that's the same with some of you. And I have not tasted a lot of these international icon wines. I've tasted a lot of Canadian wines since we started the club. And I just thought, and look, Daryl's got Greek white in the glass, 2015 Domaine.
I love the Mensigalas. The Mensigalas is the iconic white from Greece, and I absolutely love what they're doing there. Awesome. Yeah, absolutely.
And so, I mean, I just thought, like, okay, at some point, Carl, you need to pull out more international comps for me to understand, like, what is so different about Canadian wine and how do we age in comparison? Then we polled you guys, okay? VIP members of Carl's Wine Club in our group, we polled everyone and we said, what are the biggest myths you encounter about Canadian wines? Obviously, most people who are in the club have already been converted to some degree, and Canadian wines can age well. Canadian wine can be big and bold and juicy, but the biggest myths were, you can't age Canadian wine, you can't ripen big reds in Canada, right? And what were the other ones? I mean, some people internationally might even think, oh, Canada, all they do is make ice wine, right? So there's big myths out there.
Yeah.
And it's a tragedy because it is preventing wine lovers from discovering and enjoying and appreciating Canadian wines to the degree that I think they deserve to be. Canada makes extremely world-class, incredible wines.
That's for sure. And now, like, and the idea was, and we had that idea for a long time, it's to test the taste of time and see how some of our iconic wines are aging and how good are they looking right now. And to do that, in order to make it over the top, we partner up with l'Académie du Vin in Toronto. L'Académie du Vin is one of the iconic company that offers wine education downtown Toronto, and it's formerly owned by Steven Spurrier as a partner with Marc Nadeau, a person that I truly respect his wine knowledge, incredible international wine knowledge, as an incredible cellar, and he works with an outstanding team, providing people from Toronto and the area some world-class wine knowledge, and partnering up with them to put in our lineup some international iconic wine, just to showcase how well our Canadian wines shows. And it's coming up. It's coming up on April the 25th. And my job into that whole process was to select 10 wines, Canadian wines, back vintage, and to showcase different regions, to showcase different grapes varietal, different aging potential from different vineyards. So here we are, coming up very soon now. And the cool thing is the event sold out in 10 minutes. 10 minutes, all the tickets went out, boop, out the door.
Except we had two couples that can't make it anymore. So we might be sending an email tomorrow morning to members. If you're listening and this is something of interest, it is not a cheap night out, but it is also an extremely special, unforgettable experience. Getting to taste some stuff that money can't buy anymore. Like, these are well-aged wines that if you don't have them in your cellar, you might never get to experience them, right?
And I'll give you some examples, okay? Because now, just to get back to tomorrow, so we have these 10 Canadian wines that I will do the presentation in Toronto at that tasting, and I need to know what's their flavor profile. I need to know where they are on their curve, because that you select them, you contact the winery, but at the end of the day, I don't know exactly how a 2012 Leaning Post Laurie Vineyard, where is that in his drinking curve right now. So I need to learn the whole thing before we go into that tasting on the 25th. So tomorrow, we're doing it. And instead of just doing it in the comfort of my home and just like open my book and start doing tasting notes, Mira, with her vision, that's what we're doing here at Carl's Wine Club. She's decided, Carl, we're going to go live. And cheers to that, because it's an incredible idea. We're going to taste them live. And we have invited all of the winemakers who made these wines to join us live, to talk about their own vintage, to talk about their philosophy then, what did they think about their drinking curve right now. So almost all of them have replied to our request. Two of them are right now working they're in the bottling sessions right now. They're bottling, and they're a little bit like too busy, so they can't make it. Six of them are going to be live with us, and a couple of them we're doing a pre-recording during the day tomorrow. So we're going to have them showing up, like some 15-minute clips talking about their very specific wines.
So I want to know, we have 8 wines pictured here, all the way back to 2006 with the Stratus White, coming up to the youngest wine we'll taste tomorrow night is the 2017 bubbly from Benjamin Bridge, which is an extremely rare bubbly that was actually never released, and it's the winemaker's most prized wine he's made to date, which is amazing. And winemaker will join us live, I think.
Yeah. Jean-Benoit Deslauriers will be live with us. It's going to be 9:15 his time in Nova Scotia when we have him live at 5:15 Pacific, 8:15 Eastern time. So Jean-Benoit is going to join us first to talk about the bubbly. Second in the lineup to join us with Ilya Sanchuk at Leaning Post, where we're going to taste his 2012 Laurie Vineyard. After that, we're going to have the recording of Dean, the winemaker at Stratus Vineyard, where Dean's going to be joining me tomorrow morning. We're going to do, because he's in Toronto doing a new release. So we're going to talk about this 2006 white blend. Unfortunately, Hidden Bench couldn't make it, so we won't have anyone from Hidden Bench joining us, but I'm probably not going to be tasting the 2013 Hidden Bench because it's the only bottle who hasn't made it yet here. So it hasn't arrived. Unless it arrives tomorrow morning, we'll have it tomorrow. So that's yeah. What is the other one? After that, we are going to taste with...
So one of our iconic standards in the club has been the 2014 Spadefoot Toad Syrah from Summerhill. It's become kind of like an iconic wine we talk about often. When we find any other wine that's got incredible texture, we think, oh, this is getting close to that like pinnacle, which is the 2014 Spadefoot Toad Syrah. And what's really cool is we have never met or spoken with the wine grower. And there's a very special story with that Syrah. That's why it's called the Spadefoot Toad Syrah. And the grower might be joining us live tomorrow night.
Oh, not maybe, it's been confirmed. So Ron Fearman, the owner of a little farm down south in Oliver, will be joining us to talk about his little... Amazing. I think it's 3.5 acres of vines that he has in the south of the Okanagan. And he grew these grapes very meticulously, and it became one of the very, very, very sought after little piece of land, very sought after fruit. So we're going to talk with Ron tomorrow night. He's going to talk about what makes his grapes special. We're also going to talk with Ted Kane, owner at Riverstone, who made our #1 wine of the year. That is one of these wines. It's in the lineup in Toronto, so we're going to have the milestone open tomorrow night. How do you feel about that? When is the last time? Like, you remember you had dreams about that wine?
That was an incredible experience, that wine. I mean, holy moly. And I think it's also because we found it at the exact right time. Like, it is just at its peak right now.
Yeah,
and I'm excited to taste that again tomorrow night.
So Ted is going to be with us talking about what was special that vintage, and also Richard De Silva will be joining us, probably live in person here at the Boucher's at Carl's Wine Club office in our studio. Probably Richard's going to be here live talking about the 2012 De Silva Legado Merlot. We're going to talk about that. And recording tomorrow afternoon, we're also going to have a clip with John Skinner, owner of Painted Rock, who will be featuring the 2014 Cabernet Franc from Painted Rock. So that's our lineup tomorrow. So we're going to have all of these wines open. We're going to taste them live so you guys can have an idea of where all of these wines are on their drinking curve. So I'm really freaking stoked. Yeah. I'm so excited.
And we also, I don't know if you mentioned, as a wine, the winemaker unfortunately can't join us, although you chatted with him yesterday.
Yes,
but we have a Mirabelle. We have a Mirabelle 15?
2015 Reserve, which is the first ever release of Mirabelle wine in East Kelowna, located on the East Kelowna slope. A small, tiny producer of Chardonnay Pinot Noir. That's it. That's what they make. They make also a rosé of Pinot Noir and also a sparkling of Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. But they grow Chardonnay Pinot Noir. And I spoke with Doug. I was there yesterday. There was 7 bottles left of the 2015 Reserve, of all like in existence. We have one who's going to go open for the tasting tomorrow night. And there's an extra one that it goes into Mira stash. So as a little gift. So yeah, so that's the Mirabelle Pinot Noir 2015 Pinot Noir Reserve. It's going to be in our lineup as well. So very exciting lineup.
And as far as the 2014 Cave Spring Riesling that we're going to open, did you record the interview this morning?
I didn't record anything. I didn't record interview because I thought that we're going to have not enough time with 2 hours to have all of that. So I had almost an hour chat with Gabriel DeMarco, who is the winemaker at Cave Spring this morning. And we chatted for a good 45 minutes of one wine. We chatted for 45 minutes about one wine. So I have a lot to talk about that I don't have enough time to talk about. But yeah, no, it's the 2014 Cave Spring. It's in so I have enough material. When I have the wine open in front of me, I have a very good pictures of what's going on and how this wine was made, with some cool details that it comes from 3 blocks and only 10 rows. Only 10 rows of grapes from the heart of the Cave Spring vineyards. And
that's pretty cool. So join us live tomorrow night for that. And if you are in Toronto, or you can be in Toronto on April 25th, and you want to snag those 4 tickets that became available in the last day here, then DM us. Let us know. There is a wait list on the Académie du Vin side, I think. So if we don't claim those tickets in the next 24 hours or so as members, then it'll probably go to their wait list. So we'll send an email hopefully in the morning about those 4 tickets to Toronto.
This tasting will start at 6 o'clock Eastern time. Obviously, it's at the Vintage Conservatory on King Street.
So what's cool is we're gonna taste 10. Is it 10, Carl? 10 wines?
Yeah, it is. But no, we're gonna taste 10 Canadian wines.
Plus the international wines. What are the internationals? Do you remember?
So there's a sparkling wines to go at the very beginning, which is a Franciacorta traditional method from Italy, made from Chardonnay grape, which is a very, very, very small quantity, like a super tiny production of a super classic Italian traditional method. Because we have in mind that Italy is a Prosecco producer. Right? Like the old world traditional method is champagne, but we often forget that Italy can make some top-notch traditional method sparkling wine, and we have one of the very rare one. So that's going to be open.
Yeah, I have the list here. We have a 2020 Envinate Palo Blanco Palomino.
So this is a Spanish white wine, very rare, from the northern Spain. So that's going to be served.
It says Tenerife. Isn't that in the Canary Islands?
I will let you check that. I don't know. And then you know what? I'm happy because I'm not presenting the international. And I did not focus. I don't know a lot about the international selection from Mark. I know that these wines are coming in magnums, so they're special large format. So it's even more rare. So that's that white who's going to be served beside a white flight of the Cave Spring, of the Hidden Bench Chardonnay, and of the Stratus White as well. So
Very exciting. And there's more. There's more. I mean, there's a few other international wines, some really cool ones going back to 2012. And then there's also the final wine of the night, which will be a 1988 Chateau d'Yquem.
Yeah,
Just a little
yeah.
bit, because those bottles are what, like $1,200, $1,500 a bottle, right? So it's not going to be a huge pour because they're
Yeah.
very rare.
But 1988 Chateau d'Yquem is worth the price of admission on its own. So we're going to have that as a finish. But in between also, we have a magnum of a Clos des Fèves, I believe, a Burgundy Pinot Noir in a magnum format from Domaine Chanson, Côte de Beaune Premier Cru, Clos des Fèves Monopole. So that's a stunning, in Monopole, it's something who's very rare. That means only one producer who produced wine from that very specific clos, from that specific vineyard. Usually multiple producers will share different rows and all of that. And when you have a monopole, that means there's only one. And Domaine Chanson owns that Clos des Fèves. Is it Clos des Fèves? I'm not 100% sure. Anyway, so this will be one of the red. And the big bold red is from Italy, a super rare fact of a natural cloning of Merlot and Cabernet Franc. It's happened. It's called the Cabernet. And Mark has pulled a magnum out of his personal cellar. So yeah, we're going to have that open as well. So there you go.
Yes, I put the link there in case you want to see the list of wines coming up for the live tasting tomorrow. The back vintages plus the international comps will open when we're doing the in-person event on April 25th in Toronto. Ron is joining us, I believe, from Wending Home. I think
from Wending Home, who just brought home an international, a beautiful international prize. They won gold at Chardonnay du Monde for their Chardonnay at Wending Home. So congratulations, Ron. Such an amazing fact for you guys to bring home one of the top international prize. We are super thrilled for you. So Wending Home, a small, tiny producer of Ontario, and I can't wait to taste some more of his wines very, very, very soon. So thanks for joining us, Ron. It's amazing, amazing to have you on.
Very cool. Very
cool. So Mira, where do we want to go? Oh no. So now, go ahead.
I like it because you've labeled my glasses, and one says nice, one says thick, one says, but I know, because I know who we're featuring next week. This is not just your tasting notes on my glass, is it?
No, that's the name of the wine. Isn't it? But before we get in there, how about, because we're talking about events right now, how about we announce officially the Wednesday event in Ontario? So now we just announced that, well, the 25th on the Friday night, we are in Toronto doing that amazing, iconic tasting at the Vintage Conservatory on King Street. But we're gonna be spending our whole week in Niagara. On the Wednesday night, we have, because that week we are featuring Lely and Stonebridge Winery. On the Wednesday night, we're gonna do our Wine Wednesday live from Lely, Stonebridge, and we are inviting all of our members to join us for the live event. Rub shoulders with pros of the industry. We already have a few owner of wineries who has confirmed that they're going to be there, like Brian Schmidt at Vineland has confirmed that he's going to be there. Marcel Morgenstern from Bellaterra is going to be there with you. Have a glass of wine with us, and $25, and that's going to get you cheese and charcuteries, half a glass of bubblies, and a flight of 3 Lely Stonebridge wine. And that's going to be a fun evening to reconnect, to see all of you in person, do a couple of cheers, maybe some fun blind tasting or some fun stuff. But a nice 2.5 hour of gathering among Carl's Wine Club members and some pros of the industry. So it's confirmed. We had finalized the details with Stonebridge and Lely yesterday.
Yes, it should be fantastic. And of course, if you're over on the West Coast, June 15th is the day to be in the Okanagan. We're doing the Pan-Canadian Masterclass here, and it's a very rare chance to taste a curated selection of wines from Vancouver Island all the way to Nova Scotia and meet probably all of the winemakers in the same room.
All of these guys are flying from all over the country to be there, and we have some parallel or some satellite tasting we're going to happen all weekend long. I spoke with Jeff Undermark yesterday, winemaker at Mount Boucherie. He's going to take a group tailgating in the Similkameen. So
this is the Similkameen. If you were not familiar, it is like National Geographic. It is like, oh, incredible.
Yeah, so we're going to take a group there, just tasting Mount Boucherie and Rust wine in the Similkameen, in the vineyard at the Lazy River vineyard in the Similkameen. So that's going to happen. And we're still working on exactly when, but we're planning a back vintage
vertical tasting
of single vineyard Cabernet Franc rosé with the rosé master Daniel Bonterin himself. So we're gonna get more detail, and obviously on the Saturday afternoon, the main event, where we're gonna have our panel tasting of 13 winemakers from across the country, sharing their experience, sharing their thoughts, and sharing their passion with all of the 90 people in the room at Esther Creek. So it's happening. This is the Pan-Canadian Wine Masterclass 2.0, the BC edition's happening. So yeah.
Very good. Very good.
There you go. There you go.
All right. So tell us what's in these glasses that say nice, thick, Tempranillo. What else we got here? They say, oh, I think LP and MTB. This is a different theme. These must be a different winery.
Yeah. So the first three glasses, because next week we're going a little bit of a different ways. Next week we're going to feature a brand new producer that you guys haven't seen in Carl's Wine Club, probably never heard of. It's a small, tiny virtual producer that we have here in BC. They have a tiny, small vineyard, so they're not totally virtual because they own their own vineyard, but they don't have their own winery. They make their wine at a different wineries, but their name is Plot Wine. Okay, this is the name of the winery, Plot Wine. They're natural wine producer. You know me, I'm not too. Whoops.
Bring back the label, because this is probably the coolest label we've seen in a long time. Look at, get me the other label. Do you have it there with the neighbor?
Not the neighbor. The neighbor is still downstairs. I haven't opened it yet.
But even on that one, they've got like all the numbers and details that you might want to know that usually are missing on wines. Like it tells you exactly, like, you know, all the details about the RS, and see like little geolocation maps of where the vineyards are, and why they named it what they named it, and like just everything you might want to know about the wine is there, which I'd say 98% of the wines we see don't have most of that information. So
yeah, so tiny little natural producer, and they make some just cool and interesting wines. I mean, so we're going to feature them next week. We have a Cab Sauv, a Pinot Noir. We have a Tempranillo, a brand new release of a 50 cases lot Tempranillo. Tiny production. BC Tempranillo, grow in Caledon, BC. I like amazing. And the two whites we have. First, we have the Nice. But it's called It's Nice. It's their orange wine. So Sauvignon Blanc, Sauvignon Blanc, Chardonnay, and Muscat on skin contact for 3 days. So super flavorful, super bright, super juicy. I mean, this can be the wine of the summer. It's just so exuberant. I love that. And the name, it's nice. And that's funny because I just tried to describe it the other day with the lady who owned the winery, and it was like, you know what? It's nice. It's so nice. And she started to laugh. She's like, yeah, that's why we called it It's Nice, because that's what people says when they taste it. So yeah, it's really cool. It's nice. It's really, really nice. So I love that. I'm gonna do the tasting notes and scores tonight. But like at the first glance of that wine, I mean, this is a 90 points. No doubt about that. No doubt about that. After watching our friend Rob Amersley, who just released his Orange Gewürztraminer this week at Black Market, and so Rob almost sold out of his Orange Gewürztraminer. And this vineyard, where the plot vineyard is right next door to Rob in Caledon, so really cool fruits here. So that's what Mira is showing. Nice and sweaty bottle there. I love that a lot. But yeah, it's nice white. And the second white that I have here in my glass, it's called
is the thick, isn't it? Yes.
It's thick. It's the thick. So
that's the thick. Yeah, there you go.
That's the thick. Why it's called the thick? Because it's made with two big, bold, white varietals. It's Chardonnay Viognier. Whoever thought of blending Chardonnay Viognier? Well, let me tell you a secret. I don't want to pat myself in the back, but many moons ago, I was a consultant for a tiny little airline. It's called WestJet. And my role was to revamp the onboard wine program at WestJet. And they flew me to the south of France for a wine show there. And when you shop wine for an airline, you got a lot of attention. I'm telling you, a lot of attention. People wants to have lunch with you. People wants to sell you wherever they have. It is. So anyway, I met with a ton of people. And my strategy with WestJet is to start the program with international. They would have half of their wine would be Canadian and the other half international. And in the international side, I wanted to have blends to avoid I don't drink that varietal. I don't drink this. I'm not a fan of that. So doing a blend was my strategy. And I wanted to blend Chardonnay and Viognier. The first white blend we got on board of WestJet was a Chardonnay Viognier blend. So now fast forward 10, 12 years after, here we are sitting here featuring a Chardonnay Viognier blend.
Is this the first Chardonnay Viognier you've had since then, Carl?
I think so. And this is a big, bold red drinker white wine. I mean, like if you're a bold red drinker, you'll probably enjoy that white wine. It's heavy.
There's a reason they call it thick, because it's got that voluptuous mouthfeel, doesn't it?
Absolutely. It's rich, it's bold, it's powerful, but there's that bright BC acidity. The cold night BC acidity just sparks right in the middle, like right in the middle of that wine, like a big spark of acidity who keeps everything together. But
this is what Daryl was mentioning in the comments earlier, that I mean, that's what makes Canadian wine so food friendly, is we can maintain that acidity almost everywhere in the country. I mean,
absolutely.
Doesn't get flabby up here.
No, that's it. That's right. Even if we have Chard Viognier, and I believe, okay, so let's look here at the details. 16 months in barrel. So, I mean, we're talking about two big, bold varietals with 2 years in neutral oak. So, like lush and juicy. So, yeah, I love that. I love that wine. I can see that a lot with the lobster dinner that we're doing every year, the annual Mira Chardonnay Fest, Chardonnay lobster. We might sneak one of them in the mix this year. So yeah, anyway, it's going in the lineup next week. And also the other wine from that lineup that we have open tonight, it's the new Tempranillo. We had some guests over. We had some guests over today at lunch who they own the winery, and tasting that wine, they were like, holy crap, what is that? It is so darn good. So that Tempranillo is still the show at lunch today. A beautiful Tempranillo. It might be one of the top Tempranillo that I've tasted in recent memory. So I have to dig a little deeper. I have to, but yeah, this Tempranillo absolutely impressed me. I love that freshness. It's savory. It's fresh. It's not a big. It's not big. It's not over oaky. That's not your Rioja. That's not the Spanish style. There's a freshness. There's a nice savoriness to it. There's dark fruit with a little bit of red fruit as well. Long, spicy finish. Well done. I would say it's medium body.
Yeah.
There's a purity in that wine. Very pure, very authentic. They nailed it. Absolutely. So yeah, so that's what we have. The first 3 labels that we have open here for Plot Wine are a little natural producer from the Okanagan, tiny production. And they're like they have their niche. A lot of wine bars have their wines in Western Canada. Really niche, really nice and pinpoint. I love what they're doing a lot. So yeah.
Just like it says right there on the bottle, it's nice. It's very nice.
It's nice. It's super nice.
Yes.
So yeah. Yes. Before I move on to the last 2 wines that we have open today, because I spent time at Mount Boucherie yesterday, and oh my God, I've tasted something absolutely spectacular, and I tweak our Pan-Canadian selection after that taste, after what I've tasted yesterday. I'm like, I told Jeff, I need that in the Pan-Canadian. So we switched around a few things for the Pan-Canadian because that wine was so good. But before that, I have to say, I've tasted the Clonal Collection of Code Wines, a small, tiny producer of Okanagan Falls here in British Columbia, here in the Okanagan. Shea Code makes every year a clonal collection of his 4 single clone. And I tasted them all side by side over the weekend. And again, this year, he nailed it. The last time I've tasted the whole collection was for the 2019 vintage, I believe. There was some very beautiful surprise. And this year, I have to mention that the Clone 777, the Dijon Clone 777, stole the show out of the 4 single clone. That was absolutely fantastic. So the 777 and the Clone 115, the both Dijon were.
So it's really interesting. He planted like about what 2 or 3 rows of each clone. Now I know there's like viticulturists who will say, well, over 20 or 30 years, they're all going to start mixing themselves up amongst themselves. But for now, we're finding really different wines for each clone. And it's
Oh,
fascinating.
absolutely.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, it was like every single of these 4 wines are completely different. We tasted his cuvee a month ago that I give 92 points. Fantastic, a blend of the 4 clones together. Okay, it was wow. So Shay, say, hey, do you have a spot? Because these wines are not, if you're not on their mailing list, you won't find these wines anywhere. It's
Yeah,
non-existent.
tiny, tiny, tiny.
It's 50 cases of each clone. So you won't find this one. We will do a very exclusive release of the clonal pack in the first week of June. So, but I wanted to taste these wines separately, just to have a better understanding of each and every clone with the progression from 2 years ago to this year. And it's fantastic. Oh, such a fun experience to do so. So yeah, the Dijon 777, it was something else. So Dijon 777, Dijon 115, Pomar 91, and Ancestor 01 are the 4 clones of that Shea Code is working with on this small, tiny 5-acre plot in Okanagan Falls. And for this 2022 release, the 22s, right?
I can't see. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. They're 22s. So check that out. It's coming in June. So I wanted to share with you because it was really fun to taste these 4 clones side by side. Whew. And yeah.
There you go. That's what's going on. And then we have one more thing in my glass here. So there's the Mount Boucherie 2019 that you just spoke about a little bit ago, that you have to include in the Pan Canadian now, which I totally agree. Given that that Jeff Hundertmark, the winemaker there, is going to be at the Pan Canadian speaking on the panel. It is a beautiful wine. We had it last night. Yeah. We're having some right now.
So let me recap here. So Jeff Hundertmark used to be a winemaker at Mary Nesson, used to work in Ontario, long time, very involved and well-loved, like beloved by all of the wine community out there. Has decided to make the move out west in 2018 because Jeff dreamed of making big and bold wine on a yearly basis and not having to worry about the weather. Well, now welcome to Western Canada, Jeff, because now you have to worry with frost. Well, anyway, but Jeff is an outstanding winemaker, and he took over the winemaking program at Mount Boucherie and Rust. So he's the director of winemaking. Rust has their own winemaker, Ryan DeWitt, who used to work under Ilya Senchuk at Leading Post in Ontario as well. But yeah, it's such a good connection. I love that. But Jeff has taken Mount Boucherie to the next level. And I would say not even to the next level, to the next stratosphere. Man, truly, Mount Boucherie used to make decent wine. Now Mount Boucherie makes exceptional wine every year. He has developed the original vines program like absolutely to the world-class level. And so I went to see him yesterday. I was supposed to feature at the Pan Canadian The Boss. Okay. And the Boss was his new concoction, his new personal little, let's say, he wanted to write his own story with The Boss, and an outstanding wine, like nothing wrong with that wine, but they almost sold out right away on release. It was a small, tiny production. And we sat there, we're shooting shit, and we're just chatting about a bunch of different stuff. And he said, Carl, you need to taste something. And he put down these bottles in front of me. Boom. So this is OV, the original vine series from Mount Boucherie. And if you know me, if you follow us since the inception of Carl's Wine Club, I had an affair with the 2019 original vine Chardonnay, who made it to our top 10 wine of the year, I believe. Well, it was one of my top Chardonnay in 2020. In 2022, I had the original vines Cabernet Sauvignon, who made it to the Pan Canadian in Ontario. And when I tasted that, this is Cap Franc Merlot. Okay, I believe it's 56% Cap Franc and 44% Merlot. And we tasted 2020 and 2019 side by side. That 2019 absolutely blew my socks off. I was like, holy shit, so good. So like, it's so expressive. The absolute terroir of Okanagan Falls. If you follow what we're doing, if you follow the Okanagan wine scene, you probably know that Okanagan Falls has a very unique terroir, very rocky, very, very hot day, but cool night. Perfect terroir for Pinot, Chardonnay. You have Mira family vineyard who's located there, but you also have a Riesling house, one of the top in BC, in Saint-Cromesh, who's located there. Shea Code is making but you have Mount Boucherie, you have the Lost Horn Vineyard there, where Cap Franc and Merlot developed in a beautiful way and blended together. It's absolutely outstanding. And yeah, it might be the wine of the week, or I don't know, but this is absolutely fantastic. 93 plus point minimum. I have to finalize my tasting notes. There's a couple 94 points that I want to put it side by side tonight just to see where I'm at exactly in terms of score. But this wine's fucking rock. I'm telling you, it is just so good. So
it was. I mean, you got me. I'm more the, less experienced palate, but you know that when even I go, oh wow, that's something else. I mean, you know.
So I wanted to keep the connection like full circle here. So I had a package sent to us. Maybe a month ago. Elia Senchuk sent us the 2012 Laurie Vineyard that we have to taste tomorrow for the Toronto tasting. And Elia added a bottle of his new Cuvée Winona. So Cuvée Winona here, every year it's a different blend that he makes. The red blend, usually Elia will work with finesse with Pinot Noir and Chardonnay. But every year he makes a big and bold red blend. Is called Cuvée Winona. And this year, just like that, but with the 2020 vintage, it's 60% Merlot and 40% Cap Franc. So just the opposite of what Mount Boucherie done. And I was like, with the same grape varietals, Cap Franc, Merlot, Cap Franc with these two. So I was like, you know what? I want to put that side by side. And there's a connection between Jeff and Elia Senchuk and all of that. So I thought it would be brilliant to taste these two wines side by side. And I just thought the Cuvée Winona had such an amazing nose. Oh my God, there's so much dark, the sweet cherry coming out of that.
This is right up your alley. There's so much finesse and complexity. More of an elegant wine. And I think Winona, I've heard Cuvée Winona also at Ice Cellars. So is it a vineyard name? I don't know exactly.
No. Ice Cellar, it's Winona. It's different.
Oh, Winona. Okay.
Yeah. There's different. Winona, I think it's the name of the town of Winona, where they are located.
Okay.
That's what I believe. That's what it is. But So there's a big difference because first and foremost, 2020 vintage in Niagara is big, bold, juicy. So we have a very fruity wines. And what I have from the 2019 Okanagan Falls from Montboucherie, it's much more on the structure side. Super tight structure, minerality, dark fruit, cassis, black currant. That's what I have with the Montboucherie. With Cuvée Winona, it's a little bit rounder, softer, a little bit more, I would say, easy drinking, easy going, where the Montboucherie is like a solid structure, really much more directional. But it's cool because we have a 60 Cap Franc 40 Merlot on one side and a 40 Cap Franc 60 Merlot on the other side. So I just thought it was fun to taste both side by side. As much as the Cuvée Winona, it's not the bread and butter of Leading Post. It's a fun project that they do every year, and they just put them into the bolder, in the big and bold wine category, where they're usually mostly focused on their Chardonnay, Pinot Noir portfolio, and also Riesling. They work a lot with Riesling at Leading Post. But it's fun to taste that. I've tasted 18, 19. It's my third vintage of Winona. And this year, it's definitely more on fruit profile, richer fruit. So I like that. But that Montboucherie, holy shit. Wow.
So the Cuvée Winona, what vintage do we have open here?
'20 vintage.
2020. Guess how much that is, including tax?
35?
Nope.
Did you tell
29.
me? 29. What? Holy shit. Ready?
Including tax.
Holy shit.
Someone else's notes, and they're saying this Cuvée Winona always over delivers for the price point, and I think they are right.
Okay, that changed the whole thing here. Listen, it's more than half. It's 50%. It's no, how can I say that? It's half the price of the Montboucherie. Literally, no, less than half.
Yeah.
Okay, Montboucherie has a different delivery though. When you feel it, it's a much more serious wine. It's much more. It's the purpose of each wines of these wines are completely different. There's a different purpose here. Okay, it's like if I taste a entry-level Chardonnay beside, like, let's say it's Thomas Batchelder Les Villages versus Wismer Foxcroft Parcelle Nord. I mean, there's two different purposes, right? And it's 35 versus 75. Like, I understand, but $29.95.
Yeah, it definitely over delivers for the price point.
Holy shit! Are you kidding me? Wow, I'm blown away. I'm absolutely blown away by that. Like, I was expecting, to be honest, I thought it was like $35 to $42. That's what I was, and I knew, and even at $42, it would have been well priced.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
no, very well done. Very well done.
Wow.
Olivier from that we met last summer, I believe, is on with us. Hey, Olivier. He came out.
Olivier Lemoine, Olivier qui est le propriétaire de pizzeria à Québec. Un beau bonjour à tout notre monde en français, tous nos amateurs de vin francophones de la belle province de Québec, des régions francophones de l'Ontario, du Manitoba, partout en français. Un beau bonjour. C'est Wine Wednesday. On vous souhaite un beau mercredi à tout le monde. Ce soir, on parle d'un petit producteur de vin naturel dans la vallée de l'Okanagan. Ça s'appelle Plot Wine. Ils font des petites quantités. J'ai un Tempranillo qui ont fait 50 caisses qui est fantastique, absolument fantastique. Un vin orange Puis on est en train de parler de deux vins ici qui sont complètement à l'opposé du pays. Un vin de l'Ontario, un vin du BC, mais avec le même genre de blend.
So Olivier was with us when we discovered that Daniel Bontarin, who's the rosé master, he was with us at the winery when we discovered that Daniel's been storing these back vintages of rosé going back 12 years. And guess what, Olivier? We're going to do this again. We're going to taste how many vintages of rosé, Carl?
8 vintages into this 8. Time of Cabernet Franc single vineyard.
So 2015 to 2023 or 2014? 2013 to 2023. Anyways, you'll tell me.
Mayor, you should have started to spit at 12:30 when we started, but anyway.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, Olivier, if you are coming back to BC, a good day to come is around June 15th, because we are going to do that rosé vertical, but also a coast-to-coast tasting of wine from across the country. That's just going to be spectacular. So
2015 to 2023. That's the Cap Franc.
Okay, 2015 to 2023 for the
so all right, here we are.
Well, we better run, Carl, because it is 6 p.m. Wine lovers, it's been a fun Wine Wednesday. We are going to go off now. It is gorgeous in the Okanagan today. We are going to go and have some pizza on a beach or something like that.
Something like that.
They allow open alcohol on the beaches here in most of the Okanagan, so we can go bring our wine glass and sit on the beach.
Okay, that's the plan. That's the plan. Yeah, what else? I think that's pretty much it for this week. Tune in tomorrow.
Tomorrow is going to be spectacular. We're opening all these wines live with you, plus one or two more. Plus the winemakers, many of them will join us to talk about that vintage and that wine. And we'll see, how did they age? How well did these Canadian wines, going back to 2006, how did they age?
Yeah, and if you feel like you can join us, send us a DM, send us an email. We have 4 tickets left available for this otherwise sold out event. We have a waiting list, so let us know. We wanted to keep 4 available for our members. So let us know. There you go.
On the beach sounds like code. Yeah, no, I'm not that creative. I don't know. Well, that's great. Well, it's great to see y'all. Cheers, guys. Hope you have a great Wine Wednesday. If you're tasting some Canadian wine tonight, we really want to know what it is. That's how we discover a bunch of new things through you guys. So great to see you.
Send us a picture on the Carl's Wine Club VIP or the Carl's Wine Club page on Facebook. And thank you for joining us. Mira Boucher, you have a good evening. We'll see you on the beach. Code. And Canadian wine lovers, Carl's Wine Club members, see you next time.
Cheers.